N3L condition. Showed good improved speed in the second start, the last race. This horse has been facing much tougher. In the first start of the year, he had to face the likes of Eaglebine. Last time out, got pressure from 2 steps faster, the eventual winner in that race. If you go back to his racing last year, I actually really liked that race at Fort Erie where he wired the field, ran a big number that day, and I could see that happening today. I think he gets loose in here. It's not nearly the same quality of horses as last time. I think he wires his field. I'm going to go to the rail. You get Jerry Gorno training the #1 Street Ruler. I thought he ran a good race first out. He was a vet scratch on June the 10th, but he has a subsequent work. And I think, Jerry Gorno, everything he touches these days seems live, so I'll use him underneath for sure. #7, Road Romeo. Another horse I would use underneath, also dropping from that 12-5 N3L condition. But he hasn't raced and he doesn't have a work since June the 1st. But he did have some trouble in that first race, so a clean trip here. I could easily see him second or third. 3-1-7 to kick off the card.
Okay, Stretch, what about you?
All right, a real good point make note, double check for the people, is the 6 horse is scratched in here, and that's, you've got to really take note of when there's certain scratches. Sometimes you have to re-handicap a race. Before the 6 was scratched, I found it very tough. Basically, I agree with Marshall. I've got it 3-7-1, same points that he's made. I've got nothing to add other than always remember to kind of re-handicap a race after a scratch. Don't just assume that a horse gets scratched, it doesn't change anything. So I'll leave it at 3-7-1.
All right, and just to add to Bite the Bullet Bro, that first time out, the horse acted up in the starting gate, and that was a key as the horse didn't show any speed that day and ran really flat, and then really woke up the second time. So watch the starting gate for horses that I say are fractious. If they're really banging around in there, I say it's kind of like Mike Tyson giving you a little swat in the head sometimes and say, okay, go and run. Horses will run bad, they'll come back, run big races, and that's what I think happened to Bite the Bullet Bro. But I like another horse in here on top. I think the duel's going to happen between Tigger Time and Bite the Bullet Bro. We've seen a lot of meltdowns last night on the front end through the duels. So I went to #5, Walking Solo. Was beaten by Street Ruler in the first time out, but this horse was making a big, bold, wide move in that race and just flattened out late down the lane, but hadn't had a start under the belt. Street Ruler already has 10 starts and had 8 starts going into that race. Walking Solo came back against Dixie Pulpit, who is scratched in here, and Young Boy, who I expect to win right back next time out. So was in a tough race and closed once again. This horse will be in a stalking position, I think sitting 4th in the race. And if these two want to start tiring down the lane, I think that Walking Solo, now 3rd start off the layoff, is considered the charm. So I'm looking for a big effort out of Walking Solo. You're going to get great odds, as Bite the Bullet Bro should take most of the money on the board. And I have it down to these two. I'm taking 5, 3, and 7. Now we're going to carry on to race #2, kicking off pick 3 wagering. This is a $2,500 claimer for fillies, mares 3 and up that are non-winners of the year. Again, tackling 6 furlongs. And Stretch, you're going to start us off.
Okay, so not my favorite race on the card. I do like the card just like Marshall does, but I've got to run the race shape again on this race. I've got basically 5 of 8 horses that are going to be pretty much on the lead or right there pressing. So I'm going to find the horse that's going to close, and I think that's the 5. So in his last start, basically got shuffled back and then came around, circled the field, and made a real nice move. Nyrone just has to sit back and wait, not get involved early at all, and it should be fine. I don't know if it's necessarily the most talented horse in the race, but when you get the right race shape, that makes the difference. So you've got to pay attention to that. The only thing I'm a little concerned, it wasn't that fast of a run race. So I've got figures at a little bit low, so that's the hesitant to make it a prime bet, but just because of all the speed, it should melt down. The horse you can never leave out is the #7. That horse just is this is the horse's level. Wins so often, always his game is right there. Last time pressed, moved a little early, and then got beat late. Beat most of the horses in the field, and you just feel finishes a lot of firsts and seconds. So you can never You can never leave that horse out. That horse also is maybe not necessarily a need the lead horse. So smart ride by Kayla to basically just sit just off and make the move. The other one, I always have to try and find who might be the speed in the race, just in case that it's a speed bias day, and that would be the 2. So we've got Antonio up. He's really good at understanding the pace of the race. He potentially goes if nobody else goes, or if it's just such a heated duel, maybe he can conserve the horse a little bit, get the jump on my selection of the 5, go from there. One thing to take note on this is the 3 was a vet scratch on June 9th, so sometimes that doesn't show up all the time. Certainly can't use that horse here after a vet scratch. So I've got it 5-7-2.
Okay, Marshall, how do you see it?
Yeah, I see the race very similarly to Stretch. Speed, and more speed, basically. I could see 4 horses easily going for the lead. So how do you spell winner in here? C-L-O-S-E-R, closer. I think the 5 is a bird, most likely closer. Does have lots of back class, which I like. Wasn't a fast run race, but that was the first start of the year. And she chased a loose speed horse basically in there. So she is moving up too, I want to make mention. Oh no, this is 1500, I'm sorry.
25.
25, so she is moving up slightly. The other long shot that I gave a chance to in here is the 8-horse Chaquette. Lightly raced last year in Saskatchewan, only 1 work so far this year. But if you look back to those Prairie Meadows races, she has a really good running style, and she should be closing as well if she's ready to run. Trebacious, guarantee she'll be the post-time favorite. She's been the post-time favorite in all 8 of her last races. They love to bet this horse, and why not? She's so consistent. She's always a threat to win, and she doesn't need the lead, like Stretch said. So if Kayla can get her to relax, she's definitely got a shot to stalk and pounce. But I'm going 5-7-8.
Yeah, I'm with you guys in here. I went to Isabird. Nyrone Austin last night was on Wit 7 for Jerry Gorno, sitting dead last in the field, and he ended up circling the wagons and flying down the lane and winning at good odds. This is gonna be what Isabird has to do. Bella Galena and Truly Terrific both have to have the lead. So I expect both of them to go out. Celtic Gold was forcing the pace last time out. This horse doesn't have to. It showed off the pace patience in the past. It's whether the jockey wants to use it or not and use that inside post. Shiloh's Phil for the first time last year showed a bit of off the pace ability. I don't expect these horses to be more than 2 lengths off the lead, don't get me wrong in here, but not pressing and banging heads. If they do, Trebacious will be sitting just off of them. But look at Trebacious's last 8 starts. I don't see a 6 furlongs in there, has only run it 4 times in the lifetime, and I think there's a reason for that. 7 for 11 here at Assiniboia Downs is a win machine, but I think the distance is limited on Trebacious. It is whether Kayla Pizarro can harness Trebacious, who showed great off-the-pace ability last year with Richard Mares in the saddle, and even Tyrone, the year before, Tyrone Nelson was able to rate Trebacious off of hot paces, make the move at the 3/8 pole, and then go on to win at these bottom-level claimers. We'll see what Trebacious does today, but probably will be in the 3 to 4 to 5 variety come post time in race number 2. I would look elsewhere, so I'm going with Isabird with Shiloh's Phil and Trebacious to round out the top 3. Now we're going to go to race number 3, kicking off Jackpot Pick 5 wagering, a $3,500 claimer for 3-year-olds and up that are non-3 lifers or non-winners of a race that are Manitoba, Saskatchewan, North and South Dakota breds. Scratch number 4, Amy on Tour. All right, who do you like in here, Marshall?
This is another one of the races that I like today. I'm going to go right to my top choice in here. That's number 3, Rascal Candy. This horse is dropping into Manitoba breds today from that open condition race last out. In fact, that race has actually proven to be quite a key race. Both the winner and the second place finisher coming back to win their next out starts. Strong Arm, in fact, winning last night, and Ojo Del Mar actually going to Edmonton and winning at Century Mile on Sunday. So that race obviously has come back very tough. This, to me, the 3 looks like the best horse in here. The race before that, she ran an even tougher race in that 7,500 open level. She's going to really enjoy the class relief today. 3rd start off the form cycle. So this is my top choice, a win bet for sure. The other horse I like is Supreme Commander. Supreme Thunder rather, sorry. This is a horse that really never runs a bad race either. Last time out, had a bad start, but ran a really game race to jump into the picture and almost get second. This horse today with a good start, I think there could be a duel, but if this horse does get loose, and he has shown good speed in the past, if he does get loose though, I could actually see him winning this race for sure. The 2, True Commando, I'll use this horse for third, dropping in from open company, making his second start, has a 5 furlong work and lots of back class. So there's a few things to like there for sure. I'll take 3, 7, 2 in the third today, Kurt.
Okay, Stretch, how do you see it?
Okay, I'd just kind of add, I believe this is a new condition, is it not? Or have we run this condition a few times
Oh, we've
before?
run this one already.
One already this year? Okay. It's a good condition. I think it's a good, protects some Manitoba breds on this one. So it's not a have to drop all the way to 1,500 for some of them. I see it is probably my play of the day on the 3. Marshall went the key race on first and second. I believe also the 4th horse also won. Skoden came out of that race and won the other day out of that race. They scratched my second choice, the Amy on Tour, so I'm going all the way down to my third choice, which moves up, and that's just the 7. I think it's just best of the rest. I'm actually hoping people bet that horse so they can get a little more value on the 4. And then 6 is my third choice, which actually would have been my 4th choice. So in a 6-horse field, it doesn't really matter who my 4th choice really is at that point. So nothing really to add. Marshall's got it right on. I've got it 3, 7, 6.
Yeah, I'm with you guys here. Not a lot to add. Rascal Candy, great race. Key race, Supreme Thunder. I really like the way that horse ran last time out. Nicole Hine did get a win on Skoden just the other night, so her spirits are real high. And the way this horse ran, it could be the speed, because Twisted Sensation looks like it is the speed of the race, but it actually isn't. That was a race, it was girls, the non-2 lifer, but it was very slowly run, the half, 48 and change. Supreme Thunder last year could rattle down in 46 every single time. The track has been real speedy the last couple days, and I expect Supreme Thunder to be right out there. Rascal Candy I absolutely love, but if they let Supreme Thunder go, watch out. It could definitely turn the tables on the 3 Rascal Candy, but I'm seeing this as a 2-horse race. 3 and 7, jackpot pick 5 carryover, $368,000. Now we carry on to race number 4, kicking off pick 4 wagering, guaranteed $25,000. This is a maiden claimer, $5,000 for fillies and mares 3 and up that are Manitoba, Saskatchewan, North and South Dakota breds. Scratch number 1, Born Mad. Scratch number 2, Inventus. All right, Stretch, who do you like in this one?
Okay, the key to this race is this is a race, this condition basically fooled me the other day. It fooled all of us, in fact. And one thing that Kurt did say is he needed a bunch and anything can happen. I kind of look at it similar to this way. The race that kind of I twig on here is the June 10th race. Every horse that came out of there, I'm a little concerned. It wasn't a fast run race. So because it was so relatively slow, I had to look elsewhere. So right away I twigged on the 3 horse. I know the horse hasn't run this year. It's got a couple works in there. The 2 races in 2019 are easily good enough to beat this field. It just has to be close to being ready and should have no trouble beating this field. So after that, then I've got to look at who's the best from the June 10th race. And you might think that, okay, the horse that finished second was the best, but the 5 horse had a troubled trip. The jockey got stuck on the rail, didn't know what to do. Other horses kind of got in the way. I think she's gonna, would have been probably second in the race on a clean trip. Could I have keyed the horse if the horse had been second? No, it's still a little too slow for me. Easily the second best horse in the race. If the 3 isn't ready, it's got to be the 5. To beat the 5, the 5 to beat the 3 would need to improve though. And then the last one, simply because the horse did close late, but you got to be careful. The closing, when they're closing on a slow time, are they really closing? So I've got it at 359.
Okay, Marshall, what do you see?
I like the 3 based on those races last year, but hasn't raced this year. And for me, there's a bit of a red flag because there's significant lack of activity between April 24th and June the 5th. So that's a month and a half where the horse was not working out at all, and there's obviously a reason. So that's a red flag for me, definitely not a key. Let's talk about the 4 Raging Red, the only firster in the field. This horse has 3 siblings. 2 of them have raced, sorry, 3 of them, all 3 have raced, 2 of them have won. There's one in particular, though, that caught my eye. HMS Pinafore. This horse has won almost $100,000. So clearly there's some runners in the family. If you're going deep, which I would also do in this leg, definitely want to include the 4 Raging Red in your horizontal wagers. The 5 Coco Padrino, again, raced with the 9. I bet the Coco Padrino last time. I thought she was flat. I didn't think she had that much trouble after having watched the replay again. So I actually thought that compared to the 9 Sask Lady, she got a ground-saving trip the whole time. Sask Lady, on the other hand, the 9, was wide throughout. I thought she ran a really good race. She kept coming down the lane after being wide throughout in the turn. If I'm going to go to anyone out of that race, I want the 9 Sask Lady to run back into here. So for me, I have 359, 395. That's what I like in this race.
Yeah, I'm with you here, Marshall. I like Crackling Thunder. Tiffany Husbands last night sent dazzling gold to the racetrack in the Hazel Wright Sire Stakes as a first-time starter, and she got all the money as the horse did go wire to wire in 113 and change. So Tiffany can definitely get a horse ready to go. That gap in the works, that is my question mark too. Who is the best in this field? No doubt about it. It is number 3 Crackling Thunder. I'm thinking this horse will run a big race. Will it run big enough to catch the whole 6 furlongs? That's my biggest question. This horse should be well bet, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt and not keying it anywhere, but definitely throwing it in. This is the best of the bunch, I think. So I really like Crackling Thunder, Coco Padrino, Sass Lady, and I'm even going to throw in the firster, Raging Red, just because we don't know anything about that horse right now, so you got to throw it in. We're going to carry on to race number 5. This is our feature race, a 33rd running of the Frank Arneson Sire Stakes. They're going to go 6 furlongs. Wilmer Galvez is on number 8, Cross Lake Proud. And Marshall, you're going to start us off.
Okay, nice restricted stakes race for Manitoba bred colts and geldings. I'm going to do something that I don't often do, and that's pick a maiden to win a race against winners. I'm going to go to number 8, Cross Lake Proud. This is a horse I touted last time out, his first start, just based on his family history. He had a number of siblings that had won first start out. But he did run, while he did run a great race, he really ran into a buzzsaw, that Mo Money horse that was 1-5 on the board. He didn't quite have enough to beat that horse, but he still ran a great race. He had the lead turning for home, actually, after making a nice move in the turn. I think a repeat of that race today. I see this horse in the winner's circle. He gets first-time Lasix today also. The number 2, Esther's Quest. I think this horse looks like the speed of the race. The horse did win a restricted stakes race last year. Was just in too tough, though, last out. That winner, Dune Doro, came back on Monday night and won the Free Press Stakes, just to give you a sense of how tough that field was. Also has a work on June 13th, and Stephen Gaskin has good numbers, second start off the layoff. So there's certainly lots to like on the 2. Number 4, True Louis. I think this horse has a shot for sure underneath. Came back to try the Free Press Stakes last time, and second place finisher came back to win this week already. So I think this is another contender. On the firsters, I'll mention JF Amberhart. This is the first foal. There's no siblings, but keep in mind these are the same connections, Tiffany Husbands and Starfield Stable, that won the stakes race yesterday. And there was really nothing to go on there either. This horse has very similar works though. So, leave this horse out at your own peril. Number 6, Honor Rules, another firster. Full brother to Honor April Rules, who was 2 for 25 and won about 23K, but it did take several tries for her to break her maiden, so I'm going to watch once. I'm going to go 8-2-4, Kurt.
Okay, Stretch, how do you see this
I'm
one?
just going to quickly add one thing on the 8. It's basically when I'm doing my figures, it was the fastest maiden race of the year. I know Marshall says he doesn't like to bet maidens in stake races. I tend to agree with him. I don't really believe that this horse really is a maiden. He just got stuck on such a good horse. If that horse isn't there, he wins. He was much the best of the rest. So there's no concern there. As you can see, my picks are similar, 8, 2, and 4, but I am going to add an absolute long shot in here, and it's absolutely the bomber of the day to maybe sneak in for third-ish, and that's the number 9. The horse has had a couple bad trips in there. I think there's some talent there. They add blinkers in here. Certainly the horse has to improve, but I think there is the potential of that horse improving. So it's something to watch. Might run a good race, finish 4th or 5th in here. Waiting for the maiden races. But if you're a superfecta player, and if Kurt lets me pick 4 horses in here to give him the straight superfecta, I'm going 8, 2, 4, 9.
You can hold on to that until we do our pre-race for race number 5. But I'm with you guys on Cross Lake Proud. That'll run a big race again. The horse that ran 3rd in there, Persistent, is also a Manitoba bred that ran a huge closing effort, running behind Cross Lake Proud that was used up on the front end, beaten by a horse from Churchill Downs. But I went to number 3, Bear Me a Moment. I think this horse might get overlooked. This was the sales topper a few years ago, and Bear Me a Moment started off the campaign very well, breaking the maiden, winning by a length, and that was a tough Manitoba bred race with Colton, who I expect to come back and win very soon. Also McKeag, I expect to win. Bear Me a Moment hit the front end and wired him, but last year this horse had an off-the-pace running style, and so I think that's going to play well in here. I think Cross Lake Proud will go to the front. Bear Me a Moment will be close. Has a nice workout since that race, 5/8, 101 and 4. I like Esther's Quest. I like True Louis as they drop out of tough races. Esther's Quest out of the Golden Boy, and True Louis coming out of that allowance non-2 lifer where Percibility ran 2nd and came back to win by 8, I think it was, just the other day. I think Bear Me a Moment might get overlooked in here. Definitely throw this one in. I'm putting it on top with Cross Lake Proud and Esther's Quest. Now we carry on to race number 6, kicking off late double wagering. This is a $3,500 claimer for 3-year-olds and up that are non-winners of the year or non-4 lifers. Going 6 furlongs, number 7, Disco Cat. Make the jockey Regal Sarmiento, and number 8, Bold Bulldog. Make the jockey Sean Samuel. Okay, who do we like in here, Stretch?
This race is important to why you take your notes and you look back at old programs, and if you sometimes forget. The number 7, Disco Cat, had to basically disco with Tippy Riverman. Guys catch that disco part? And that horse is pure speed in there. And so the first race, the horse just chased around. I had big figures on the 7, ran a really, really good race. And the 7 just surprised me on how fast he was. And then the second race, the jockey was kind of stuck. He was kind of on the rail, not sure what to do. Do I go? Do I send? Again, a tricky race for that horse on what to do. Big difference in here. It makes a slight drop, but I think it's even a bigger drop just because of the competition. So there's some 5,000 races that are tougher than others. That was a tough one in my opinion. So the morning line is 2 to 1. I think you got a shot at getting a little more just because there's 11 runners. The horse looks like that last race really wasn't very good, but it was very, very good race. It was just a tough, tough race to get in there. My next selection, which is a long shot in here, going off at, well, 5 to 1, but could go even higher, and that's the 4 horse. That last race going around 2 turns, I'm not really sure where that race came from. The figures are extremely high. And then when you look back, or the other thing too, maybe Wendy Anderson has figured that out. She certainly could have done that, so that's big. But if you look back after I saw such a big race, where did this race come from? Well, if you look at it, the horse is 3 for 6 at the distance, has 7 of 17 wins. So again, you can't ignore that at all. And then the other horse, just to include because it's a win machine, is the 2 horse. And that's basically 4-4 in the money, going 6 furlongs. I'm between the 4 and 7, but 7's my top pick. 7-4-2.
Okay, Marshall.
I like the 7 also. Disco Cat to me in the last 2 races has been fast, but not fast enough. Today, I think he's fast enough. I think he gets the lead. I think he waves goodbye to the field and gets the win. I like the rider change to Rigo Sarmiento. Another horse that I give a shot in here actually is number 2, Nayar. This horse is moving up, but he really looked good last time. He definitely impressed me. Came charging home, and it was basically a hand ride. If you have a chance to watch that replay, he'll have no problem with the added half furlong distance. And I think the class raise, like I say, I don't think that'll be a problem. I like the 4 also for third, the cutback from 7 furlongs. He has tons of back class, and the horse likes to win, having won basically 25% of all of his races. So he would be no surprise to me either, but the 7 on top with the 2 and the 4.
Yeah, I like the same horses, adding one more, Warren's Dirty Dancer. This horse ran behind number 7, Disco Cat, in the first start that they met, running third, and then came back and beat Disco Cat last time out. Has a good stalking position, which I think it'll show behind the speed. Big shot to win on the drop from 5,000. I'm taking 7, 6, and 2. We're going to carry on to race number 7, Super High 5 wagering. They carry over just over $47,000 for this $1,500 claimer. For non-winners of the year, going 6 furlongs, scratch number 10 demands attention. Who do you like, Marshall?
Well, it's a $1,500 claiming race with 11 horses. Yay! These are really tough races for me to handicap. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I know on paper it looks like a standout, so I'll mention number 7, Talkin' Bull, dropping speed. This horse has been racing a lot tougher. Second place finisher, came back to win next out in his last race. So the big question though is, why are they dropping to bottoms? I mean, why not just race again at the 5,000 level? The horse just finished third. Or why not drop to 2,500? Those are obviously red flags for me. If the horse runs his race, he wins this race. No problem, no trouble. But there's also, and he's got to work on June 15th, so that's a positive. Anyway, it's his race to lose. Other than him though, I mean, you could pick a whole bunch. The number 12, Maddie's Pro, I thought this horse ran a big race. Just lost by a head, a nose. But if you look at the margin of victory or difference between second and third, there was almost 7 lengths. 7 lengths there, so this horse was clearly better than the rest of the field. Number 9, Wally's Got Class, Antonio Whitehall, racing tougher at Turf Paradise earlier this year. That's enough for me, 7, 12, 9.
All right, Stretch, how do you see it?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Marshall. I think it's a fire sale. The workout is at making the trainer trying to say, buy me, please. The horse is going to go off at 320. Basically, that horse wins, and then after that, you got to find some angles. I've got 2 horses. He did mention one. The 4 horse is my clear second choice. 4 Steady Works is 12 of 30 lifetime. Last year, narrowly lost to Mr. Magic Please and Smart Copy, who ran really well on the other day. And this one looks like can run relatively fresh. At 10 to 1, if the 7 doesn't fire, I've got to use him. And the other layoff horse is the 9 horse, again has the works, 8 to 1, again maybe. Good race on the card. You can see it's 6.5 furlongs at Turf Paradise, so it doesn't have to have a mile. It's right there, 7, 4, 9.
Yeah, you guys have all my horses in here. Just to add on number 4, Fungo, trainer Mike Taphorn sent 2 to the track yesterday. Smart Copy was the first one, ran a big race, 4 wide and ran second. The next one, Silver Spun, got the job done. If you had that in your pick 4, that was the $65 horse, so he had a win in a second. Fungo's ready. I think he might be able to tackle the bull and lock horns in there late down the lane and maybe be the upsetter, and that'll really bump up your pick 4 and pick 5 tickets. Good luck with all your wagers this evening, and I'll be right back with the changes on this evening's Card Racing.